So thank you all so much for being here. This morning, our staff did a fantastic job of laying out a lot of factual information associated with the rupture that occurred in San Bruno on line 132. And we were able to bring out a lot more discussion and questions from the board members, and I hope that was illuminating for you. And we will have several presentations this afternoon that are going to focus on oversight and their integrity management, PG&E's integrity management plans. And so I do think that this afternoon's discussions are going to be quite interesting, and I'd be happy to answer questions about this morning. Yes?
It's odd that PG&E has no records to indicate where this pipe came from. To me, it's like that 14-minute gap.
Yeah. The question was, is it odd that PG&E has no records for this pipeline segment? And I think the NTSB has been frustrated throughout the duration of this investigation by the inadequacy of PG&E's record keeping. And we discussed today that there were contractors that had done projects around the same time, and there were better records from PG&E's contractors than work that PG&E themselves had done here in this location at San Bruno. It is very disappointing to us that they were not able to produce these records, but at the end of the day, what we have found out in this investigation is that the pipe installation, the quality of the welds were inadequate, and that could have been detected when the pipe was laid in the ground if they had properly inspected it or used the right techniques. And it could have been detected if they had hydrostatically tested the line, if they had done in-line inspections. There were a lot of opportunities missed here by PG&E, and we're going to talk about some of the oversight opportunities that were missed this afternoon. Matt?
What is your degree of confidence that this is atypical, that there aren't welds in pipelines around the country that were misdescribed in the records, that have not been tested, put in by companies that didn't assess the risks properly and don't have good emergency plans?
The question was, do we have concern that there are other pipelines around the country that might have similarly misrepresented sections as we found in this case? The NTSB is very concerned about that. That's why we have made recommendations going out not just to PG&E and CPUC, but also PHMSA to really focus on accurate records and accurate data. And PHMSA has put out information to pipeline operators after we issued those recommendations in January, letting them know and putting them on notice that all of their assumptions for their integrity management plan that are predicated on the data that is in their system is expected to be accurate. And if it's not, then they have additional obligations as far as validating that data or using other tests, such as a hydrostatic test, to verify what the maximum operating pressure on that line is. And so we have been very concerned about that. I think what we've seen in PG&E is hopefully the worst case scenario, but we have been, I think, at every turn with PG&E, continue to be frustrated. We just, in May, they advised us of a leak that had occurred in a longitudinal seam weld on the line 9 miles south of the rupture site, and that was not disclosed. That was not part of their assessments, and CPUC didn't know about it either. And so I think we continue to see problems with PG&E with revelations about information, and we really have a lack of confidence in their ability to provide us good information.
Have you had any sense that some of that is intentional withholding of information?
The question was, do I have a sense whether or not PG&E is intentionally withholding information? I do not know why PG&E is not producing this information, but I can tell you it's not helpful to our accident investigation.
It's not the Safety Board's first time looking into PG&E, Chairman. There were other times, 1981, 2008. How confident are you that the third time will be the charm, that they'll actually listen this time?
The question is the NTSB has past history investigating accidents on PG&E. And how confident are we that they're going to get the message on this accident? I think we can always hope for the best, but I think that what we've learned from this accident is that it is important to have a strong safety system, and it is not up to just the operator of the line to ensure that. It's also up to the regulator and to the system that operator is working in. You cannot place blind trust in an operator that doesn't deserve that trust. You have got to, as a former California governor famously said when he was president, trust but verify. You cannot expect an operator that doesn't know what the pipe on their line is to be accurately doing assessments. You have got to make sure that they're doing it the right way, and when they violate that trust, the penalty has to be high.
Let's take one more question.
You mentioned that you'd be discussing oversight this afternoon. Is that going to be emphasising PG&E's oversight of its own systems, or is that going to be more about government oversight? And I asked that question because all of this morning was about PG&E. So clearly there's been systemic problems beyond that private entity.
The question is about the presentations this afternoon and the focus of those presentations. We will be looking this afternoon at PG&E's integrity management plans and how they conducted their own risk prioritizations on their line. We will be looking at CPUC's oversight of PG&E, and we will be looking at PHMSA as a federal regulator and their standard setting for pipeline operators all around the country. Our investigations are very comprehensive, and I think, as you could see this morning, we really were laying the foundation for what happened last September. This afternoon, we are going to bring it all together and talk about the system that this pipeline operates in and what the expectations for the public, for the citizens who live and work around these pipelines, on top of these pipelines, what they should expect from the people that they put their trust in as far as oversight. Thank you all very much.